My Ford GT needs some help, so today we're heading to visit the best man for the job here in Florida, my friend Tavarish. He's making some amazing progress on the flooded McLaren P1, but right now it's the Shmeemobile that I'm hoping Freddy will get back on track. This trip has taken us from Circuit of the Americas in Texas to Monterey Car Week, California, all the way over to New York's concrete jungle and back to Arizona for the Ford GT Rally. But sadly now it's coming to an end, and before it does, there are a few things that we need to do. Hi guys, I'm Shmee, hello and welcome back to the channel. Let's take the cars over to Freddy's shop and get this sorted out. Florida weather is doing Florida weather things, but we've got some stuff to work out. We've got two of the cars here. The GT has been around the whole country, actually came here to Florida from SEMA in Las Vegas. This was driven down by my friends from Maryland, having been in Virginia and around Washington, DC. While this is going to be staying out in the US, it's the permanent US Shmeemobile, it's time for the GT to go home. And to send it home, there are a couple of barriers between us and getting it loaded up, namely a fuel issue, I'll explain in a second, but also we have to disconnect the battery, and to disconnect the battery we have to take the wheel arch liner and a headlight out. Yeah, it's complicated, and while we're here in Florida, we're not too far away from Adam LZ or Cletus McFarland or even Chris Fix, but Freddy has a thing with helping out Brits and sorting stuff with their cars, so we're going to go and catch up with him in a moment. Now, as it happens, there's actually a Ford's garage right over there, the American restaurant chain, and we went with these, and our server didn't know what this was. I think he kind of missed something with that. Anyway, let me hop in here. We'll drive these, do the last drive, and I'll explain what the problem is. Let's show you this. So, to ship across the world, the car needs to have less than a quarter of a tank of fuel, right? That's pretty imperative. So let me just start this for a moment, get the AC blasting, because it is super humid right now. Sun is trying to poke through. On here, as you can see, we have nearly 17,000 miles, which I think is pretty impressive for this thing. But we also have about half a tank, and it's not that far where we're going right now. So I'm gonna have to use a lot of first gear to get this down. So let's make a move and get started on that. Last drive time. That's what's kind of crazy. I cannot believe how fast the 6 months or so that this car has been out here in the US has flown by. It's been literally backwards and forwards across the country. Talk more about that in a moment. But this is the time to take it over, to pack it up, to bring an end to this voyage, this journey, the second outing for the GT in the US. And I'm hoping we're not about to have thunderstorms and downpours, and I'm hoping that we're going to manage to get everything ready to get this loaded into the truck in time today, because we are a little bit against the clock. It's not ideal, but it kind of is what it is, so let's hope it goes to plan. This is actually more of a battle against the clock than I realised, because we've only got a couple of hours spare to get all of this done and a few specific tasks on our agenda before we need to get it in the truck. And the truck needs to go because it's got to get to the other end in time to get this loaded into a container, to get it onto a ship, to get it back to England. All meanwhile, I need to drive kind of in low gears, accelerating and burning away some of the fuel in here, because otherwise I'm going to have to pay to drain it out. I'm normally a little bit more organised than this, but actually when I last topped this up, when I last filled up the tank, it was longer ago and I intended to drive it a little bit more, so I didn't expect to get to this point. However, here we are. I'm not complaining because, let's face it, Quicksilver exhaust sounds amazing. Not bad. I've been a little bit slow on this one, but it's just occurred to me that Freddy probably, just probably, has the ability to drain some fuel out of this. So maybe that's the solution we're going to need today, rather than just driving around in circles. I'm below half a tank now, but there's still a ton more that needs to come out. A ton more. I would need to drive it, what, 40 miles or so? 40, 50 miles? I mean, I can. It's probably only an hour or so, but it is going to push time a little bit close. And it seems completely unnecessary as well. Come on, traffic light change. Traffic light change. Best way to do this, do a full launch control, which in this car, as I've said before, is the easiest car in the world to launch, because you literally just do brake, throttle, go. You don't have to do anything else, it's just, and off you go. There's no pressing buttons or fiddling around with it. Get to move. That's probably the way to burn fuel best. One thing I definitely won't miss about Florida is the many interesting roads to drive. Although, I tell you what, if you're in the right car, all of the roads could become interesting. Another idea I just had is that I could see if Freddy wants to take this for a drive. Because I don't know if he's driven a new GT, and if he hasn't, we could go for a little run around, and that would do a good job of this. We're nearly there. Check that out. We're right down, just above a quarter, so a little bit more to go. But Mr. Freddy is here, so let me hop out. How you doing?
What's up, man? How are you?
All good? Good to see
Yeah,
you.
yeah, good.
A nice, humid, muggy Florida day.
A little bit, yeah. I just came from Indy, and it was -2, so that's
Fahrenheit -2.
Fahrenheit -2. So,
Holy.
yeah. So it was real cold. Yeah.
Have you noticed how, as a Brit, I always turn up here with an American car?
Yeah, it's a little weird, isn't it? Yeah.
Come with this, come with the Dark Horse, came with the GT500 a few times, and we've done it again with something that you've never been behind the wheel of.
Dude, it's like a fighter jet back here. Look at this. This is insane.
The exhaust tips are pretty cool, and they're nicely coloured, which is what we like.
What kind of exhaust is that?
Quicksilver in the UK.
Quicksilver.
Yeah, so it's in canal. It's pretty cool. Weighs next to nothing.
You know, I've not really spent any time looking at these cars, but there's a lot missing. You know, like it's just
negative space.
So much negative space.
But you know how, like with your P1, right, which we'll head to in a sec.
Yeah.
The more time you spend working on it, the more you kind of learn about it, and the more you realize that actually there were some geniuses that engineered this thing.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
And it's similar with this, like the cooling, right? The radiators here. People don't realize the radiators are inside the side. They're actually piped through the buttress. So not only is this aero, but there's a tube in here for the air to be piped through, and it goes into the engine from in front.
Whoa.
Like there's some mega clever engineering stuff.
That's so cool. And like, okay, so the wheels, are these stock wheels?
Semi-stock.
Semi-stock.
BBS make the factory wheel.
Uh-huh.
These are a limited run that they only made 10 sets of, matching the race car wheels. And painted in the same color as the Le Mans wheels.
But
and they have
like,
their cutouts,
they have holes in them. So, you know, holes for lightness. You're adding lightness.
Adding lightness, I like that. The only problem is missing center caps. I lost the rear. Well, I keep losing the rears.
Oh, are these floaters?
Yep. It's a Rolls Royce. It's a Rolls Royce.
Rolls Royce.
Anyway, enough on this because you have just done a marathon journey.
Yes. Yeah. So we have, when I say we, I mean me. I drove this.
Rex is very kindly giving the GT a little bit of a clean-up, which it certainly needed from how it was earlier. And while it's going to get a little bit dusty on the way back home, it's always fun to see a car on the snow foam, isn't it? It always looks cool. So a big thank you to Rex for that. He and Freddy have their new channel as well, Art of the Flip, which you can check out for a little bit more on that. And back to red and gold we go. Inside and looking beautiful. But I tell you what, the times that we have had with this have flown by. It seems like kind of yesterday that we were outside of Houston at Hennessy to collect the Ford GT here in the United States. Then we drove over to Austin. We went to Circuit of the Americas, the US F1 Grand Prix circuit, for some laps over a couple of days with the GT1 Sports Club before we drove on an adventure that took us up to visit Hoovie. We went to Hoovie's garage. We then continued over to Colorado and went to the top of Pikes Peak. Then it was the next journey out in California, arriving there, tons of events before driving up to Monterey Car Week. We actually went via the Peterson, saw the GT90, and then after Car Week shipped the car all the way to Connecticut to attend Dream Ride with the castle shoot, with tons of stuff going on before taking the Ford GT back to New York City to drive it through Manhattan. The next adventure was out in Virginia for the Mille Miglia Warm-Up USA, before we then shipped it all the way from there back across the country to Arizona to do GT Rally 14 with almost 100 Ford GTs new and old, before we then drove up to SEMA in Las Vegas. Didn't put the car on the show, but did have it in Nevada during that week. Then after that, the last part was really taking it back here to Florida, where not only did we go to visit the American Muscle Car Museum, where they also happen to have the original Alan Mann GT40 from the 1960s, but we've had a ton of fun with my friend Alex, My Exotic Cars, before ending this journey here with Tavarish. It's going to be time very shortly to get it loaded though, but before we do that, we do need to go pop it up on the ramp and get the headlight out and make some progress, and fingers crossed we can do it all in time.
All right, so do I go butt first or?
Yeah, and you're about to experience the first problem with the GT.
Okay.
It's tiny inside
Okay,
here.
that's okay. That's
So you can move the pedal box.
Okay.
If I pull this, you can push it away.
Okay, that push it away like that.
Yeah, get it out of the way.
Okay, wonderful. All right. Okay.
How's your headroom?
Good, good.
Yeah?
You know, my hair's touching. It's all right. So just pull this down.
Yeah.
It
So
feels special in here, you know?
It feels like some crazy machine. Yeah, there's nowhere to put anything.
Okay.
You give it to your passenger.
Okay, here you go. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate that. Ooh, nice. Now, I never really take any liberties with people's cars.
But I need you to drop some gears because we need to burn off some gas. Like, you have to.
All right, we have that on tape.
Yeah.
You said it. All right. Let's get past this guy.
And it also comes more to life when you get higher in the rev range.
There we go. That's nice.
I like that.
That's awesome. This is so cool. Like you can feel the turbos, you know, come into boost. Oh yeah.
If you do like a sharp lift off as well, you get some really nice flutters from it.
But it's also interesting. It's a lot more mechanical sounding than I thought.
Mm-hmm.
Because you know they say that this engine it comes off, you know, like the Ford Raptor and like all these other cars, and this sounds much different than all those other cars.
Oh, completely. It's funny to think that it is an evolution or a derivative of the same, yet it's such a different thing, because obviously for a company like Ford, and I can tell you, when they were making these and developing them, and they were testing the V8s as well, obviously the Coyotes and whatnot,
right.
The problem with them is they couldn't get a competitive motorsport engine from that.
Yeah.
Yet it's amazing that they could from the V6, and then they can package it into this tiny little compartment behind us, which gives you all the aero benefits and gives you something that just looks like a spaceship.
Now, you know, elephant in the room, and I'm not talking about me. Would it have been better to have a flat plane V8 in this?
I think the theory is that Ford didn't have an engine that they could do that with.
Right.
So the whole purpose of the car was to race it at Le Mans. And
Right.
given they didn't have an engine that would have been competitive to race at Le Mans,
Correct.
that was an 8-cylinder.
Oh, of course. Now we got traffic.
Oh well.
Ugh.
It didn't give them a choice. They had to roll with what they had available.
Yeah. I'm gonna hit a little bit. That's good.
It's exciting, right?
Wow. It like dances around a little bit.
But dances in a way that you know what's coming, and it doesn't shock you. Unpleasantly. Like you're not completely. I'm glad you tried.
I like that a lot. So, stupid question. This has launch control, right?
Of course.
We should try that.
Do you know how easy it is?
Is it just gas, brake, go?
Yep.
Yeah.
Come to a stop anywhere you want.
Firm on the brake,
Yep.
firm on the throttle. Oh, I love that. Oh yeah. That is good. And we're not gonna say how fast that was. That may have been
45 and a 45.
It was 45 and 40. Yeah, you're right. You're right. That was 100% what that was just then. Dude, this is an amazing car. It feels so special. It feels so substantial in here.
I often word it that it feels like something unique. You know, McLarens from one to the next have a similarity. Ferraris from one to the next have a similarity.
I'm gonna go this way.
You get in here, it feels like its own car. It doesn't feel like
No, it doesn't feel like anything.
it's copied off another thing.
But it also doesn't feel like a Ford, you know?
It certainly doesn't feel like a Ford.
Like because I just drove like a lot of the country in a Ford F450. This feels different.
Oh, you're not the same car.
No, it turns out there are differences. Yeah.
It's one of the things I like though is that there's also no preconception of Ford owners or drivers.
Yeah.
It's not like a Lambo guy or a Ferrari guy.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
And people always come around and they're like, what car is that? And then they go to the badge and they're like, wait, that's a Ford? Did Ford make a car like this?
Yes, absolutely.
Apparently so.
So is this also a dry sump V6?
Freddy, you're asking me questions I don't know here.
I'm pretty sure. Listen, it's their race derived thing. It has to be dry sump. But It sounds dry-some to me. I don't know.
There's a reason I'm at your shop to take a wheel off. Come on.
No, we'll definitely do that. So, why are you taking the wheel off?
Because I'm sending it back home in a container rather than by air.
Okay.
To save some cash, because air freight is crazy expensive.
Okay.
And that means it'll be locked in the box for 3 weeks, 4 weeks, something like that.
Yeah.
So as a result of that, while you could maybe install a kill switch or something like that, I prefer to turn the battery off, just switch it off.
Gotcha.
Then I know it's not going to go dead, because a new battery on one of these is 5,000 or something, right?
Yeah,
so,
and it's a lithium battery, so
yes.
yeah.
So the best for me is to make sure that the battery's all good, and we can plug it back in at the other end.
Gotcha.
Nothing funny's going to happen. GT is in.
Yes.
We've burnt some fuel.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
We're now under a quarter where it needed to be. There's an Aventador hiding under there.
Yeah, that's like half of an Aventador. It's just the vent and the door.
Do I now drop some clickbait that we're playing with the gearbox or something on my car?
Yeah. That's it. Like, this is what everybody was asking, what a gearbox looks like in a Ford GT. Well, there it is. Yeah. That is actually not, that's a gearbox for a 1998 Nissan Maxima. So there you go.
Probably wouldn't work so well in here.
You know what? We can try. We got tools. But no, you have to take off the wheel now.
Yep, it's pretty easy. Wheel, front half of wheel arch liner with 13 clips, 3 bolts hold the headlight in, it slides backwards. We pack that up, we get the battery ready to disconnect, boom.
So you noticed that you drove in on a 4-post ramp, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so
wheel.
How do you get the wheel off?
Yeah. Do you have a thing that goes underneath?
I do.
There we go.
Yeah, so we'll lift the car up on the front axle, and then we'll just take the wheel off, and then we'll do this.
Easy as. Up she goes. Nice and easy. There we go. We've got the arms. Shout out to Benpack for the gear, as I have with the Benpack auto stackers back at the barn. Nice. What I have here to show you quickly, which I've never actually shown on a video, is our limited edition Ford GT in the US poster. Only 66 of them. They are individually numbered. They are signed as well. This is, of course, with the car in front of the Capitol in Washington, DC, where it went earlier on this tour. You can grab these in the Shmeemobile eBay shop. The last few remain. They will go very quickly. Big thanks to those of you who have picked one up to go with the collection of these limited posters that we've offered. For now, waiting for Freddy to find the pucks so we can get this lifted up. Is this safe, Freddy? It is now.
Hold on, you gotta go. That ain't going nowhere.
Good. That's the test. This is the difference in our approaches. You're like, yeah, 19 works, and I'm like, ooh, it spins.
So one thing I really like is that the fact that this does not have lug bolts, it has lug nuts, which means that the stud is still in the hub. And if you have to take off the wheel or put on the wheel, it is super easy, and it doesn't allow the wheel to fall and hit your brake here.
Yeah.
So.
Nice one.
That is a
wheel out.
That is a light wheel.
Yeah, it's surprising, isn't it? Yeah. Genuinely shocking that
So
such a big wheel can be as light as that is.
Put this right here.
Nice and safe, and then we've got to get these clips.
Okay, cool. I have a clip removal tool. We just have to take this guy off, right?
Yeah. 13 of them around here for the front, and then we get in. I'm working really hard here.
Hey, listen. Somebody has to supervise.
I'm supervising. At least I know that there are precisely 13 of these clips that have to come out. Wheel arch liner out. Easy.
Wonderful.
Even inside here, I love looking at. Like all of the different bits in here.
Well, it says it.
Carbonness.
Is this a bit like McLaren? Is this the right VIN?
That is the right VIN.
Okay, McLaren has the incorrect VIN. So it says a different chassis number.
And you're like, what?
Yeah, I don't know. Okay, so
it's just literally 3 bolts on the
One,
headlamp.
2, and then where's the third one? Oh, in there. Okay, cool.
Third and final one out.
Yeah, this is actually pretty easy to take apart. So I never knew that the battery was up here. It's easy, but also not very easy considering you have to take the wheel off and the headlight out. All right, now I can disconnect this harness back here. That's just the headlight harness.
Yeah.
Okay. Boom. And then
out it comes. Delicate, because we know they're expensive.
You're telling me that there's something expensive on this car?
No,
I don't believe it.
It always amazes me how big headlamp units are when they're out of the car.
It's heavy. It's substantial. I'm going to leave it right here. So.
Cool. Then all we've got to do is package that up.
Yeah, and that's it. We just put it back and...
Yeah, basically.
Cool. All right, you can do that.
Easy.
Go ahead, do it.
Electrical tape for the connector.
Yeah, we're just going to make sure that since it's going overseas, and I happen to know what happens to cars when they get into contact with salt water.
Really? You know a bit about that?
A little bit.
Okay.
I have done some Googling, and we're just going to tape this up real good just to make sure it doesn't, nothing gets in there and goes screwy with your system. But I think that should be it. You can get to both terminals, get to the negative there, positive there. So all we have to do is put this back, put the wheel back, and
done.
We're good.
Where's the last one then?
That one.
Oh, it's just up here.
Yeah,
cool.
That one might be a little bit loose, but yeah, that'll be all right.
Done. Okay, 13 back in.
13 back in. We'll put these in a bag.
Yeah.
And then we'll put the wheel back on.
Easy peasy. Your wise idea then. We drive with no headlight now?
Yeah.
Improved airflow?
Well, it's less weight. You're adding lightness.
Adding lightness.
Yeah, there we
Improved airflow. Nice and easy. Guess what? The BBS logo is the right way up.
Wow. Wow. It's almost like I knew, right? Just kidding. It always. Look at that. Got floaters.
Down she goes. Nice one. Hockey pucks doing their job.
That's right.
Bend pack equipment for the win. You might not believe this. The center cap's the right way up. Sorry.
That's crazy.
It's a bad joke now. GT is ready to go home.
Yeah, and it looks pretty good. I mean, it looks like it sort of got punched in the eye, but it's all right.
It fits right in.
Yes, it does.
So the headlight is now bubble wrapped in. It's in here because the battery's going to be disconnected. We don't want anybody to open the passenger door because the window would half drop or wouldn't half drop, and that would be a problem.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of rules that you have to explain to people if it's going 5,000 miles across the world. But I think it should get there no problem, hopefully. And I can't wait to see this in the UK.
You'll be over again soon, but what's going on with this? Where are we at?
So this just came back from PRI, which is sort of like a SEMA, but it happens in Indianapolis, Indiana. And we did a different sort of livery this time because we wanted everything new in the back, but everything in the front is just how it came out of the water. So you see that we have the original headlights, the front clamshell, everything. I mean, we've done a little bit of work, like a little sanding and stuff, but this still has a lot of the sand in it. But if you come back here, then we have the engine that is now running. The brand new engine from Cannonball Garage with the Tachyon turbos and the unobtainium welding exhaust. And everything here is up to the spec of the P1 Evo, as I'm calling it. So hopefully in the next few months, that's when we're going to have this running and driving, because we guys still have to do the interior and wiring harness and then body work and all that stuff. So it's a lot of work.
It sounds easy.
Yeah, it sounds really, really easy.
What happens? So the next time we see it, it's done. Not quite.
No. If you see it next time and it's done, then I guess we're done. That's it. You don't have to come over here anymore.
It's been fun because we came to join you when you had just bought this, right?
Yes.
And you were still very much getting the sand out of it.
Yes, and that is still the case. You want to see this? Watch this.
Every time there's
There's still sand coming out of it.
Without fail.
Yeah.
You'll never get it out.
We've cleaned it like 20 times. I don't know where it's coming out of.
Literally somewhere.
Yeah,
some gap inside some carbon door panels.
Yep.
But no, the doors aren't being changed. This will be final door, right?
This will be final door, yeah.
So you've got the new rear clam, new front.
New front clam, yep. And then we have what we're doing. Maybe I haven't told you the plans. So we are doing an exposed carbon weave, but I am doing a special carbon weave that is like the Koenigsegg, like the big silver carbon weave, the herringbone thing.
Cool.
So we're doing that, and then we're overlaying it with a candy color. So it's going to be. I think it's going to be really cool. It's going to be really hard to do, but it's going to be really cool.
And it's going to be very satisfying when it's done, because as we've seen with the LT and with others,
yes,
they start life in not so good a shape and they end up in pretty perfect.
Running sometimes, yeah.
Until the engines blow and chaos begins.
But then you have to rebuild it. And then it's just more content, I guess.
Do it again and do it again. Well, thank you very much for your help with this.
Absolutely.
I would be a little bit stuck, especially given that it was supposed to go in a truck right now.
It's okay. Well, The one thing about truck drivers is that you can always count on them to never be on time.
It will be what it will be. Yeah. I seem to have pretty good luck, but right now this is going to be picked up. Maybe later, maybe tomorrow. Thank you for looking after it.
Absolutely.
It's in some pretty epic company.
Yeah. We'll take after. We'll look after it. Yeah.
Thank you for your help, Freddy.
Absolutely, man. Yeah.
See you again soon, I hope. I guess that's it for now. The next time I see this, it will be over in the UK. What a journey it's been with the Ford GT back in America. I hope you've enjoyed the videos of this. If you like these kinds of cars and these videos, check out the one right over here. But that's it for this time, and I'll see you again very soon. Cheers.